What's up, everybody, and welcome to another blue chip stream here on Monday. I will just go ahead and give a minute of time to get into the Discord. I hope also that the audio is good, and we'll get this started like every week in a minute on the weekly and daily time frame for the SPY, and then we'll take it to some of the blue chip stocks where we have setups for on the Discord and what we're looking for. So I'm going to check up on the Discord. All right, I guess we can just take it away. My screens should be visible and I should be audible, so it should be good here. For the SPY yesterday, like not yesterday, but last week, we've seen quite an interesting week here. We're basically closing the SPY here last week at the yearly lows for the stock index. So that's not a positive sign. Also, it looks like we're going to gap up just a slight little bit to 364 here today. But really, it is a pretty nasty situation in which you are probably maybe looking to lose these lows on the weekly time frame, these yearly lows. So it's really a moment in the stock market where it's important to just stick around, because like really good entries, they will still come. Like there is no doubt about it that we can make a lot of money if we come down lower. So it's not something to be scared about, because if the SPY retraces to 345 and 325, yes, maybe you will see some of your stocks in your portfolio, they are down, but those are really the great times to add potentially. So that is also what we have been doing and are doing for our blue chips in the Discord. Now, I'll start off actually looking at NIO, which is not really that much of a blue chip because it is actually a Chinese company. And that's like the main problem with Chinese companies, is that none of them are really blue chip, because all of them have got an overlaying extra layer of risk just due to the fact that they are Chinese. Now, last week, we have had some our first buy-ins here for NIO at around $14. I would expect, and I'm just going to ask everybody in the Discord to mute themselves. All right. So for NIO last week, we have actually had our first buy around $14. I think it is a very sensible place to get a first buy-in for NIO. This has really a lot of upside potential, though. If we do move up here, and if we can take out that high at $25, I think this is going to be a very, very nice 2x at least. However, this is also something that I've shared on Discord, is like, yeah, $14 for NIO is likely going to be a good entry, a good first buy, but it's only a good first buy. If you go all in at a certain level here, for example, and we do come down lower, then you have your hands tied behind your back. And if we see $12 or $10 or even $8 for NIO, which is quite possible, it is just very, very important that you always remember in an investor's mindset that you don't go all in on any particular level, and you always keep enough money on the side to basically buy another dip. So that's basically what I'm looking for NIO. I am confident in stepping in here already. I think that we're at an important 786 level here at 1367. If we can hold that and creep back above 15.5, that $14 is going to be a very nice entry. But if we do come down lower, and if we do retest that yearly low, that swing low there for NIO at around 1167, that's just another place to add, right? Around $12, and then 10 and 8, and always make sure that you can buy more at lower levels. So that's really the key. So chart technically, this looks like it's in a big downtrend. If you want to be like extremely safe, you would always wait until this white line is broken. However, by the time that white line gets broken, you're already at way higher prices at $25, $28, $30, and then you just miss a lot of the gain. So again, it's not a market to be scared in. There's no reason to be scared for buying into these things, as long as you can do it responsibly, as long as you don't just treat this as, oh, this is going to double X this year, I'm going to get all in right now. So for NIO, not really a blue chip, definitely something on my radar. We have had a first buy last week. Looks like we're going to open just a little bit lower. So this technically would still be a good buy for me here. Just and then laddering down at $12, $10, and $8. And I think that will be good in the future. So that's what we have for NIO. Now, the second thing that we've had plays on is Visa. And I like to go over this stock a lot, you know that. yeah, we had a nice buy at 178. The reason why we have got that is because we have lost our previous low, our yearly low here at 185.91. So once we lost that, we knew that we were in targets to 178 and 168 here for Visa. And it's pretty beautiful how that has actually worked out. We have had buys weeks in advance for this thing when we were trading in the 190s at 178. Now, I personally also got in there, but once we retested that 178, I actually had personally my stop loss at break even. And I had the same thing when we played this a couple of weeks ago at the 618. We had bids there, but as soon as I see a little bounce in these markets, I will get stopped at break even and I will just set my stop loss there because I'm not looking to be a part of anything that goes south. If I'm green in any kind of position in this market, I will really trail my stop loss to break even very aggressively. And the downside to that is that, yes, you will get stopped out. Like, for example, I'm stopped out of Visa. Looks like we're still very strong here at 183. So if you had the 178 buys and you did not sell this, looks good. However, I'm only going to be interested in adding again to this once we can reclaim that 186. Once we can get back into the previous range here for Visa and we can reclaim the yearly low that we previously had at 186, that's an area where I'm also going to go look for longs again. But right now, it looks like we're simply having a rejection off of the previous yearly low. So if you're not in this already, and if you did not get the 178 buy right now, I would say no panic, because if this rolls here, you will very likely get another re-entry at maybe 168. So that's, for me, the next level in the bear market that I'm looking for. I think that if the SPY tumbles down a little bit more, I think it's going to be inevitable that all of the stocks, and definitely all of the blue chips, they follow the SPY and they create it. So they are going to go down too. So the same level is still very applicable for Visa. I got an alarm set at 168. And I'm also looking at a reclaim of 186 to get back into the previous range of this year to take a long all the way back up to around 218. I really, really, really like Visa a lot. I know that they have got partnerships going also with FTX, which is a big crypto firm with an infinite amount of money. So this is just something that will be probably around as long as the stock market is around. So this is definitely something that is on my radar. And also now in the bear market, now than ever, I would say that focusing on value investments becomes more and more and more important, because in a bull market, yeah, you can buy low cap tech stocks and it will all run. But now in a bear market, you really have to focus on the well-established names, companies that you trust in, that will be here for the long run. And so that's why I think that having a blue chip, some blue chips in your portfolio is basically necessary to balance out all of the volatility that holding and trading smaller cap stocks might give you. It's the same for crypto. If you have crypto, it's basically necessary to hold some Ethereum or Bitcoin just to balance out all of the volatility that altcoins give you. So it's the same in the stock market. Being focused on at least having some blue chips is crucial, in my opinion. Next one that we can take a look at here is Apple, and I'm slowly actually getting interested for Apple. However, one thing that sets Apple aside from all of the other stocks that we have watched in a couple of past weeks is that Apple has not lost its yearly low yet. So Visa or Google, they've all lost their yearly lows, but Apple is still holding up pretty strong and is holding a higher low. So if I can take a look where we're hanging out here, it looks like we are finding support exactly on the 786 Fibonacci retracement to the previous yearly low from this swing high here. So I would say it actually looks pretty strong. If we can get back above 145.33, above the 618 retracement, if we can see that in the coming week, that might be a little bit of a swing entry for longs, because I think then maybe we are just basically stepping up. This is still bullish structure. And even though the stock market is looking pretty bearish at this moment, I still look at all my charts separately. So this chart to me looks more bullish than, for example, Visa in the short term, simply because you're holding that previous low, that previous yearly low at 129. Once we start to lose that for Apple, once you come down to 130, 129, you lose that. We will get buys in for this thing at 118.5 and 106.5. And those are going to be the levels I can almost guarantee you where you're going to find a reaction, some sort of bounce. So 118.5 and 106.5 is relevant for Apple, but only after losing 129. So I'm still looking within this price range here. And I'm thinking if we can get back above the 618 retracement, that's a bullish statement for potentially more upside and testing this stop resistance line again. Now, in PBA, this was also a beautiful short a couple of weeks back because we simply just shorted the rejection of the third try to the upside here, the rejection of this trend line. I personally like Apple a lot. I'm an Apple user, I'm an Apple fanboy, whatever. I just think that their stock looks incredibly strong until it doesn't, and it's still holding the previous yearly low. So that in and of itself is a very bullish statement in this market because most of the companies are just not able to do that. So there's two ways to look at it. I know you can say, well, it has not pulled back enough. Yeah, that's true. It has not pulled back as far as, for example, Visa or other stocks, but maybe it's for a good reason. Maybe it's because they will just hold the higher low here. And I think once we are above 146 with a stop loss at around 137, it's time to go long again on this. But again, not right here, not right now. The reason for that is because we're still downtrending. Like this has been a falling knife, and you would want to wait for some green confirmation first to know that your knife has basically stopped falling. And we don't quite have that yet. So it's really super important to remain patient. And like you can't do wrong with sitting on cash, waiting for a better entry. If that is your trading plan right now, where you're like, okay, I don't trust the markets right now, well, you can just sit along the sidelines. There's nothing really that you are missing right now. And if you see 119 or 106.5 for Apple, those in the large term, like for a long-term perspective, will probably be amazing buys. So that's what I have for Apple. I am just definitely very interested to add that to my stock portfolio too. I think it's a great blue chip. And I think that if anything, this will probably break its all-time highs. So we got Visa, Google, the SPY. No, actually, the next one that we need to go over is Google. Let's see. That's this one. And it pains me a little bit to look at this because this was looking extremely bullish just a couple of weeks back, but we are still...
Hey, Jay, can you share your screen here on Discord real quick?
All right.
I know you're sharing on YouTube. Thank you so much.
I forgot to share screen on Discord, so...
You are all good.
Let me just fix that.
Go back and see it on YouTube too. You're good. Yep, we can see it now.
That should be good. I do apologize for not sharing the screen in Discord. There's definitely a lot of things to basically take into account here. But for Google, right, we are, again, you can just see how beautiful those 1272 fips, how beautiful that finds your support. So really, if to take anything away from my charting, I'm always looking at the swing low, the swing high, and the retracement back to that low or that high. And once you lose a swing low or a swing high, you're basically looking to go to the 1272 and the 1618 fips. So this is exactly what Google has done. However, I have personally not bought anything here for Google at the 1272 just because I had buys for Visa and I just don't have like the risk tolerance to get involved in everything. And because I would just rather wait and see if we can drop to $91 for Google, that 1618 target, I think that's going to be a very nice area to look for a bounce. And that's still a 9% down from where we're trading right now. So if anything, you got to be prepared to buy these stocks at 9% lower. It's the same story for all of them. It's all pretty much downtrending. And if you can just be patient, you will get like lifetime entries that, people get excited when prices are going up. But it's really when prices are going down that you should get excited and you should really wait for these best possible entries. And for Google, well, apparently the 1272 held as support here. That's great, but I'm just preparing for another leg down. I think it's actually pretty likely. However, we are in October, and October has been historically a very bullish month for like stocks and crypto. And September has been a very bearish month, and that has held true also this year. And I'm also just thinking that this year has been a horrible year already, and that if we do see some relief, it might be good to get involved into some more long short term. So what would I need to see here? Well, it's very simple, is a reclaim of the previous yearly low also for Google. I want to see at least a daily close above 102.21. before considering going long again. Now, if we get that, for example, today, we get that nice bullish day, we get a close above 102.21, depending on your risk tolerance and whether you want to play and trade this, I would personally go long with a stop loss on this 1272, because then I'm just looking at a reclaim of the previous range and a long all the way back up to 123. And that's the thing, the sentiment is very bad at the moment, but if you've been around in the stock market for a while, you also know that it can change just in the blink of an eye. So I'm looking for Google at a reclaim of the previous range that we had this year, close above 102.21. Probably I'm going to wait until we see 103, get in there, put a stop loss on the 1272 here at $97.13, and basically try to ride it up to the top side of the range here, taking profits in the middle of the range at around 112, then 123, and let some ride for potential higher levels. So I know Amy talks about this all the time, other analysts. It's really just all about your risk reward and about waiting for confirmation. So I think Google here is a great example to end the stream with. The confirmation for me for upside, or for at least more upside potentially in the short term, would be the reclaim of the previous range, the previous yearly range here. If we can get back in that, it's very important also that you wait until the candle closes, right? So if today you come up there, it's important to wait until that daily candle has closed, has been confirmed to be closed above 102.21. That's really the safest way to go by it. And then you just manage your risk by setting your stop loss on the previous low here for me. And I'm looking at playing this again to the middle of this range, to the top side of this range, and potentially even letting it run higher. So that leaves you with a 3.5 and even a 7-to-1 risk reward trade. The only thing that you need to do is be patient, watch for your levels, go to your charts yourself, draw your lows, draw your highs. In this stream, I have only focused on the weekly time frame because it's such a strong one. It's basically the key to charting is to always start off on a larger time frame. So we've only been on the weekly, and you want to wait for definitely weekly or daily confirmation. So if we take it to the daily time frame, how that would need to look here is we would need to get back above these previous closes here. We've closed 3 days in a row for Google at the yearly low that was previously support. It's now turning into resistance. So it makes no sense to me right now to long this. Why? Because then you're basically simply longing resistance. And if you wait until resistance is broken, you get a slightly less good entry, but actually your entry is way, way safer if you wait until the previous resistance is broken and turn into support again. And then we can say, okay, Google is just trading in a massive range from about 123. You have the range highs there, and you have the range lows at around 102.21. And okay, the little move here below $100 is a little deviation, getting out of the range before getting back in. So this is personally something that I always like to do, is trading ranges. And especially I'm very interested once we lose a range and get back in the range. Because if you lose the range and you get back in it, that's a place where many traders are basically looking to take a trade to the other side of the range again. And that's really, that's going to be a nice entry here. Actually, I will keep this updated, of course, on the channel. This is going to be on my watch list. Whatever is under 102.21, I'm really just not interested in touching it unless it drops to $91. Then I will for sure also get some buys in for Google, just because I'm pretty confident that the 1618 here will provide a lot of support. So short term, either a regain of 102.2 for Google or falling back to $92. And there you will definitely get trades in. Like, there's no question to that. The trades will be there. The question is, are you patient enough to not long resistance here today and wait for your better entry, your confirmed entry after regaining that yearly low? So that's really what I have here for a couple of the larger blue chips. That's already been 20 minutes. I will end it on YouTube, but I will stick around in Discord to answer some questions. And if you have some tickers in the Discord that you want to see some analysis on or some levels, I will stick around here for a while and you can definitely ask me. So I'm ending the stream here. I'll see you next week, and thank you for watching.